Thanks guys for tuning into Miranda's scrapbook channel. We're just going to give you a brief overview about a vintage card that she's done. It's freaking awesome, so go ahead with it.
Okay. This is what I made for my grandmother because my grandfather just passed away. So I made her a scrapbook in memory of him. And this whole thing was made out of a soundboard that my boyfriend actually got from a store.
So it's a big solid piece. It's
yeah,
real sturdy.
But it wasn't out of chipboard or letters. You know, I hand cut all this, drew the letters, and then cut them all out, and then double-sided the paper. So I didn't like go to Michael's and get chipboard and do it. And it's all my first take on vintage, and I tried to like distress everything and do double layering on the paper and stuff. We're gonna put binders here. We're on the road to Tennessee right now, but we're gonna stop and put binders there. Before we give it to my grandma. Yeah, because this isn't old too well. Anyway, I really like this stamp too. Okay. I made this flower myself with my homemade glimmer mist that I made out of hairspray and the Pearl X powders. And he was into guitars. So this was a vintage ad. We printed out a bunch of them off the internet and then took them to Office Max and printed them out. And there's another stamp with the corner.
All this stuff was cut like
yeah, this was like 3 pieces of paper layered that I cut back and peeled back and distressed to make it look like it's all worn out.
Just put it on certain spots.
Yeah, I just did it on certain spots, but all this, I drew these cracks myself on here because I thought it made it look better. Then I put these around the picture, a little metal flower up there. Okay, and here's a picture we printed out from online, and we printed it out on a transparency and it turned out really cool. And I just put some paper behind it, distressed, so that it showed up better. And I made this flower myself. I think it looked really good in here. Here's another picture of a train because my grandpa worked on a railroad. And it's on transparency, and I like tucked the corners down, made it look really worn, and put the little button brads on there, and tucked that corner in, and made everything really distressed. And
you spray these with water to get the curls
yeah,
down.
you have to spray this with water in order to get like the peel up. So, because when you're using spray adhesive, it's pretty tacky and it's pretty permanent unless you spray it with water first. And then these are some Prima flowers that I got at Michael's that are really, really pretty. And there's some more pages torn back. And the back of it has a picture of them with lace around it. And an old coin that I put in the middle of this part that I frayed back and curled with water. And this idea my boyfriend came up with. It's a little magnetic closure. Yeah, the jewelry magnets. And it gets stuck on there. And this was just, I'm going to put things that I loved about my grandpa on these journaling spots right here. And then the top piece is like a little clock, and I'll put that on there and spin. Okay. Next page, another transparency picture of a railroad and train. And that's like a conductor's ticket, which is cool. And these are all Tim Holtz stamps, which we had bought them, and then they turned out to have stuff that included trains in them, so it's really cool. And I put the lock and key over here on the H. Okay.
The board material is really stiff.
This board's real sturdy, so I wanted to make something that was simpler than what I usually make. My grandmother, you know, all the pockets and hidden things, she wouldn't really know how to operate that. These are more pictures on transparencies that I backed with distressed paper, so it shows up better. And this is another vintage ad we printed out on transparency, and I just kind of like cut right there so it's all torn looking and curled it back to make it look distressed and old. And this is just a bunch of scrap paper I had left over at the end, but I kind of like the way it turned out. And then this tag, which looks really old. And it just tucks down in there. And that's it.
Yeah!
Yay!